Hello and welcome to What's Next. I'm your host Matt Brading, and this week it's Film Week. I'm going to be talking to Rich from Cloudbay Studios in Staffordshire a little later on in the programme, but before then we're going to catch up with the latest from the world of films.
Hi guys, and welcome to the film section of the show. First up we have Lawless, a film which is based on a true story of two bootlegging brothers. The film is set during the Prohibition era and offers action throughout, so all you fight scene lovers, this one's for you. As far as the storyline, I'm afraid it's lacking any major attention grabbers, and in places it really seems like a cliche of an old gangster movie. The film is directed by John Hillcoat and stars Jason Clarke and Guy Pearce as the main actors. The film itself is set in a gritty underworld of the 1930s, which offers plenty of gun scenes and fights.
If you're talking about action, then this movie will possibly blow out all of the others out the water. It is possibly the most anticipated movie of the year. Yes, folks, The Sweeney has come to the big screen. It stars Ray Winston as tough cop Jack Reagan. The 70s TV programme has dragged us kicking and screaming into modern-day cinema. It was directed by Nick Love and is sure to be popular with not only those old enough to remember the original TV series, but by action lovers everywhere. But will the film live up to the hype?
Somehow I doubt it's going to be living up to the original TV series. Not only because it's set 30 years later, but also TV to film remakes aren't that good. Although the fight scene shot in London does look epic, and it does have Ray Winston as the main character.
Only time will tell, and no doubt reviews will be hitting the internet pretty soon. Well, that's what we've got time for this week.
We now leave you with a trailer of this year's movies.
Big things have small beginnings.
We are going to do the news now, and as you know, we have a table of topics. On them is some cards about topics from the film industry, and we're going to talk about this. This is Rob and Aileen, by the way. I don't know if they've been introduced yet. They're presenting this week. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with this card. Okay, so Die Hard 5 has just been announced, along with a trailer. Now, after Die Hard 4, shouldn't they really stop making Die Hard movies? I mean, Die Hard 4 wasn't brilliant. So I don't know what you think.
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of franchises which have just kept on bringing in more and more films out and again. I remember with Scream, with the Scream franchise, where a lot of people said after 3, I think that could be enough for the films. But then a year or two ago, they brought out Scream 4, and I mean that was more sort of adapted for a modern audience. They're a bit like what Die Hard 5 is, but again, it's just milking a bit more money for the franchise. It's not really going to live up to the hype that perhaps Die Hard 1 had, or in the same sense that Scream had when the original came out.
Yeah. And Aileen, like, why do you think they keep doing this sort of thing?
Well, because it's really hard to come up with new ideas lately, and especially for action movies, because it's getting a bit same old. So to keep people still interested in the action movies, they're kind of picking ones that have already been done and got a fan base already, and just keep milking it out. So I'm guessing they took their chances with the 4th one and decided that it did pretty well, so now they're doing another 5th one.
Okay, so now we're going to get to the difficult part of the show, which is me passing this card to Rob, who's actually quite far away, although I don't know if you can tell that until they turn. So here goes.
Frisbee.
Nice. Better than the rehearsal.
Okay, Paranormal Activity will be in cinemas soon. Do people really find these types of movies scary, or has it now just become a gimmick?
That's a good question. I mean, like, they basically go off the whole, there's nothing on the screen, there's something on the screen, boom, there's something on the screen, and that's kind of
well,
the whole
I
way
think the
they're
first
scary.
one was really effective because it was completely different. Like, we hadn't really seen much of anything like it before.
No.
So the first one was pretty good, and naturally they make a second one because like it's doing so well.
Yeah.
But
Then-
fourth one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's the
Fourth
same
one.
again.
It's a bit like Die Hard before. Are they taking it too far?
Yeah.
Or
And I've noticed they've started doing like technology gimmicks in it. So like this time you see it through an Xbox or something stupid like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what they started doing.
I mean, I heard Xbox Kinect. They paid for their product just to be in Paranormal Activity 4.
Yeah.
And perhaps that's worth it in the short term, but maybe not for the whole point of the film.
Okay. Right, Aileen, this is going to be a tricky one.
Oh god.
Sorry,
There you go.
Rob.
Thank you.
Terrible at this.
Resident Evil films. Are there too many? Is it time to call an end to these movies?
There seems to be a bit of a theme this week, doesn't there?
Yes,
It's about franchises. So yeah, Aileen, I mean, what do you think?
I personally haven't seen any of the movies because
Yeah.
to me they all sound the same, and there sounds like there's a lot.
Yeah, like I saw the first one, and I think I saw a bit of the second one, but it's like, as I mentioned last week to the other guys about the ending got leaked, like there's no story anyway. I mean, it's basically just a feeble thing to get through lots of scenes of girls shooting zombies.
Yeah. Well, I know like one Die Hard fan, and he mostly liked it because it's a heroine.
Yeah,
And-
die-hard Resident Evil fan, not a
Well,
die-hard fan.
yeah, I meant, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I meant a
very
big fan.
confusing.
Obsessive Resident Evil fan. put it
Yeah.
that way.
Yes.
I
that.
guess if it's your kind of film, then you would be hanging on every single installment. But like, it's not the greatest film in the world, and
Yeah.
I'd rather see something more original. Like they put all these money into this sort of thing. By the way, I've just been informed that we have a slight echo on the sound, and I have to apologise for that. I'm sure our sound guys are working to fix it. But yeah, so no more remakes. So we've got a bit of a complex topic to end with. I don't know how much time we have, so
Let's be
actually,
sure.
I'll tell you what, I'll read it because my throws are terrible. So in the wake of violent protests about the anti-Islamic film that got released a few weeks ago, there was a big sort of backlash about that. Should filmmakers be more responsible about the content they create? Should they be thinking about how this will affect people other than their target audience?
It's a difficult topic to answer. I mean, a lot of people would say that perhaps all these sort of tricky areas should have been assessed in sort of the pre-production stage, where all the cast and people involved with the film, perhaps some audience research into what could happen once the film's been released. Perhaps that would have given this whole anti-Islamic film a bit more. Well, it's hard to put it. It's hard to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I know what you mean. You've got to. If you're trying to make a point, you've got to make it.
Yeah.
But you can't insult everyone along the
Can't
way
yeah,
to
that's
making it.
it. You can't insult people.
Yeah, and like, because there are repercussions. Like as a filmmaker, you think you might watch a new program in your computer and thinking this is absolutely great, but that's your point of view,
Yeah.
and you're forgetting that there might be people out there who get very angered by it and could do some bad things as a result, which is what we've seen happen. So I tend to think that filmmakers should be more responsible rather than just thinking what's going to be the most shocking movie.
Well,
Yeah, I
you've
agree.
got to think it through.
Well, because like as technology is advancing, they want to advance with what they can get away with as
Sure.
well. So I suppose they're pushing as far as they can go, but then you have to know where there is a line.
This was a low-budget film, though. So
yeah, that makes more sense.
Okay, well, I'm sure we could keep discussing this for absolutely ages. But we are now going to go to a VT of my little trip to see Matt Appleton at Envy Post in London. Okay, so I'm here with Matt Appleton from Envy Post in Soho in London. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what Envy Post is?
Sure. Envy Post Production is a company. We're a kind of one-stop post house. We do everything from offline, which is when the rushes are delivered to us, right the way through to finishing post and VFX, audio, and everything in between.
And for those who don't know, what role does a post-production house play in making a TV programme?
It plays it plays a really important part. I think people quite often overlook how important post-production is, but it's essentially 50% of the TV making process. Once everyone's been out and filmed everything, post-production is the process of sticking it all together and making it look and sound and feel like a TV program.
And what sort of projects does Envy work on?
We work on long and short form. Over the last 7 years, we've really expanded our workflow, and we're doing a lot of light entertainment. Our short form department, which was traditionally branding, so promos for channels like Channel 4, we're now doing a lot more commercial work. We've just started doing some features as well, which was never something that we particularly set out to do, but our client base, you know, the actual people that we started working with, their careers have taken them into lots of different areas, and so their work is still coming to us.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about Envy Academy?
The Envy Academy I set up a few years ago, basically because I was bored of interviewing the same people with the same skill gaps, and I just kind of thought, oh, hang on a minute, there's a problem, because everybody I'm interviewing wants to be an offline editor on Final Cut Pro because they like telling stories, and that isn't a job that we have. And so I started going out and speaking at universities, and you know, we've got like the Facebook page and stuff. We run courses and like evenings here where we get technology people to bring their kit around and do student nights and show students what it's all about. Work experience placements, you know, every week we've got at least one work experience person in, sometimes, you know, more than that. Basically breaking down the barriers between education and industry, I think, is really important.
Okay, so thank you, Matt, for answering those questions.
Thank you for asking them.
And I guess if you're interested in finding out more about Envy, you can visit their website or the Envy Academy Facebook or Twitter feed.
Like us on Facebook, like us on Twitter, do all that kind of stuff. You know, it's very important. Thank you.
Coming up next is the tech review with all the latest information on the best pieces of kit for all you film enthusiasts. Take it away, Aileen.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the tech review part of the show. This week we're going to be reviewing the Panasonic GH3. First of all, this camera is capable of capturing high level of detail, which is important for you filmmakers that want to capture as much detail as you can. The camera records in stunning HD and footage that can be recorded at 50, 25 and 24p at 50 megabits per second. Also, movies can be recorded in MP4 format, and even slow and fast motion recording is possible. The Panasonic camera also has Wi-Fi technology built in, allowing users to remotely access features from their apps for ISO and Android. These features include power zoom, focus point and shutter. Backing up to the cloud is also possible, and a handy feature for anyone who is filming on the go. Overall, the camera looks and feels solid and robust. It is taller and deeper than previous models, unlike the Panasonic GH2, which has a plastic shell. This particular camera has a magnesium alloy shell, which makes it more robust. It is also dust and splash proof, which will help those who want to film near water or even in light rain. Inside the camera, you will find a 16 megapixel sensor that is capable of HD photos. The battery life is impressive, allowing the user to take 540 images on an average per charge. However, at over £1,000, this camera is not a cheap piece of kit, but for serious filmmakers, it is definitely one to consider. That's it for this week's tech review. I'm now going to hand you back over to Matt Brading, who will be talking to his guests this week.
Okay, so I'm now joined in the studio by Richard Goodman from Cloudbay Studios.
Hi.
Hi, Richard. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about what Cloudbay Studios is?
Cloudbay Studios is an independent film studio, small studio which we set up in the centre of town, which is primarily producing music videos, corporate videos as well, and also we've just got the small burgeoning of an independent feature film company as well.
Okay. And you have a lot of sort of things with involving young filmmakers or up-and-coming sort of student filmmakers.
Yeah, I mean, the main reason behind it is we're trying to, well, there's a gap between, in a lot of ways, between the training of people who go through university establishments, whatever, training, film schools or whatever, and then the mainstream world. And what we're trying to do is to facilitate some kind of opening, as well as our own work as well, to give those students that are either starting out on their own with their own company, or they're freelancing, or they want that space to work. And that's what we're trying to do, just give them some kind of access to get a foothold into the marketplace, somewhere to build their portfolio and all the rest of it, and start to make a name for themselves, really. And
do you find that the students have a different mindset to the sort of the established professionals who've been doing it for years?
Well, it's difficult. I mean, sometimes you see some of the students have absolutely got it bang on the nail. They're very sort of savvy with, how to market themselves, put themselves out there. And compared to sort of seasoned professionals and all the rest of it, they don't have that. So it's interesting. There's a coming together of two worlds. There's the older world, which is where you started from the ground up and you work through your various trades. And with the changing world, especially with digital media and everything becoming smaller, faster, cheaper, and all the rest of it, the access to being able to do professional stuff from, entry level, which you couldn't do sort of 10 years ago, makes it a much more competitive environment for young people going out into the marketplace. So they have a good opportunity to compete with the sort of existing market, but then they do need to have some real-world experience. That's what we're trying to do.
Because I mean, like they could own cameras that are as good as the industry use. At least not the top end of the industry, but
well, even then, if you, the old days of film cameras, some film cameras you could never ever buy.
Yeah,
I mean, even an Alexa is now. You can buy that if you want to.
And it's just that getting used to actually working in the professional world rather than going out and shooting your own little idea, I guess.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I think the whole market's changing. I mean, you can be picked up as an independent filmmaker straight off YouTube. I mean, you've seen it done, and I think it doesn't mean that everybody's going to get it that way. But I think not only students going out into the world, but also the industry itself has got to realise that there is this burgeoning amount of talent going out. I mean, the entertainment industry has always been full of unemployment and stuff like that, but there's never been a better time, I think, when you've really got talent to get out there and you've got an access and a chance over and above people, even 10 years ago you had to go through a system, whereas now you can do it, and that's what we're kind of looking for as well. I mean, even on our own professional side, we're looking for that kind of talent which is going to change things. There's a lot of mediocrity out there, and the more passionate, the more dynamic, the more aggressive people are, they're the ones that we're looking for.
Yeah, and I guess like today, if someone's unemployed or they don't have a job yet, that doesn't stop them from going out and making their own films, so that companies like yourself recognise them and can offer them the jobs.
Exactly. I mean, yes, a camera can still cost £100 or whatever, even a small one, but even so, I mean, you could even get a webcam. Yeah. Steven Soderbergh's classic example, just pick up a camera and go. And if you've got a passion for it, if you can tell a story, I mean, you don't want to get caught up in the technology. It's very easy to get caught up in technology, and you see, I mean, we get showreels, people trying to send in their portfolios and stuff, and some of it's very, very slick and very good, and you just think, yeah, but it's like what's out there at the moment. And you're always looking for someone who's got, wasn't expecting that. Still good, the professionalism's there and all the rest of it, but they've got something else. They can tell a story, or they can, approach whatever genre it is in a more unusual way. Sure.
Okay. Well, that's interesting, and I guess it's good advice for people. It's not just to try and replicate what the industry do, but actually get your own ideas about. Yeah,
because you've got more chance of being noticed if you're being yourself. Yeah. Because people are always looking for the next big thing, the next change. But I mean, if you try and copy, it's the worst thing you could do. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me.
A little later on, you're going to be talking to me about one of the music videos that you've directed.
I believe I am, yes, indeed.
But before then, we're going to take a quick look at Staffs TV's recent trip to BBC Television Centre in London. Daft TV's new programme, Blue Peter, with all the rights from the BBC.
Where is the scene set? Where are they? An airport. An Take that one home. Turn it to your friends.
Okay, so now we are going to see a music video that Richard has worked on. In fact, it is playing it now. And we're going to ask you to talk through the process of you. Did you direct this?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Well, direct. It was. The brief for this one was House Jammers, big band in this part of the world, and getting a national name for live dance music. Sounds absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it's brilliant. And this particular gig was done at the Sugarman in Stoke.
Oh, really? Okay.
And what we decided, the brief was, I wanted to keep it as sort of raw and as in with the crowd as you could get.
Yeah.
So we went, okay, we'll just get some DSLRs. We got 3, and we had one up on the balcony which could move around, or that was the original plan. And then one was going to be on stage, and then the other one was just going to get beaten up in the crowd.
Yeah.
And it was literally keeping it that aggressive, you know, just get in the crowd. And it was a vibrant crowd. This gig didn't start till I think it was midnight, so they'd already been well oiled and all the rest of it. So
you can really see there's a real sort of energy to the video. I mean,
yeah,
you're not just watching them perform, but you're seeing the people respond. And I like this sort of highly contrasted black and white look that we've got. I noticed you sort of flash the colour every now and then.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is what we were trying to do, the venue itself was pretty empty as far as a sort of, you know, luxurious, good-looking venue and all the rest of it. So it was to try and sort of keep it as interesting as possible. The black and white, which was graded black and white, you know, there's some really nice sort of almost like infrared work we did in post on that. But yeah, I mean, it was just to keep it a flavour. It was really to do with trying to get them onto the next level, promoting them up into larger venues and bookings, which is done its job.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the brief was keep it aggressive, keep it rough. You know, if you get pushed over and I kind of like that. I thought, well, let's go for it.
It's got a like I say, I mean, there is a real energy to it. Often with a lot of music videos, you feel quite separated from it. Whereas
well, yeah, I mean, a lot of it is very samey today, isn't it? You know, and mind you, it was a complete nightmare because when we got to the venue, it was cold, but the inside, I mean, the walls were just pouring with condensation, so the camera started fogging, and as hard as we could with some of the lenses, they just wouldn't stop fogging out. So some of the original plans we had of putting some long primers on and stuff like that went out the window, and then we just went with the lenses that worked. But no, I mean, the gig was 2 hours. We covered about 95% of that. Yeah. And we would actually got to the point where the comms that we had didn't work. It broke down because of that, and we were actually texting each other as to go and like, get back into the. I need to get you into the crowd, and. Yeah, there was one point where we lost one camera because he just disappeared into the crowd. We couldn't get him back.
Okay.
So that was kind of fun. Yeah. But no, it was good. I mean, I like that kind of thing because the energy is there. The crowd are really loving it. The other thing as well is all the audio was mixed from at the gig, and we took that and that was mastered, and then that was married to the sounds that we recorded off the cameras. So basically. Nice and tidy at the end. So yeah, a couple of days of editing, and yeah, it was good fun.
It's great. Okay, I think that's all we've got time for to talk about this.
No worries.
It's really good. And,
thank you very much.
Do you have? Does Cloudbay have a website or something? People more
yes, we do. Yeah, it's cloudbaystudios.co.uk, I believe it is. Yeah, I always get that wrong. So if not, I mean, you know, just search for Cloudbay and it will come up.
Great.
So, no worries.
Right, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
That's all we have time for on this week's episode of What's Next. We will be back next week for another live show. And until then, you can check us out on our Facebook page, facebook.com/What's Next Show. We also have our website and the Staffs TV website. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.